Okay, this is your MCU/Marvel news just because I can't put DC and Marvel together. It's just way too big, way too much news, and it would just kill my computer and it would crash with trying to put it together. So, if you stay past the intro of the sexy roaring dinosaur, I'm gonna talk some MCU/Marvel news. Okay, first, James Gunn and Dave Bautista talked about how Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 might be their last involvement with Guardians of the Galaxy. So on James Gunn's end, on continuing past Volume 3, here's what he said. Never say never, but I see Volume 3 as the end of the Guardian story I started telling back with Volume 1. And honestly, I kind of wonder if James Gunn just came back to direct Volume 2 after the hissy fit fans threw with Disney canning him. Rightfully so. I think it was complete BS. I'm not saying people were wrong about complaining, but I feel like it was, okay, come back, direct another Guardians of the Galaxy, and then just, go over there. When it comes to beyond Volume 3, James Gunn said the Guardians of the Galaxy will continue, but it depends on what you consider the Guardians. So for a long time, there's been talks of switching out the team members, and it seems like we're getting closer and closer to doing that. So Guardians of the Galaxy will continue, just new characters will be interwoven, which makes sense because Guardians of the Galaxy in the comics didn't have just the same heroes nonstop. They also rotated through. On Dave's end, he talked about Drax continuing, but not with him playing Drax, so here's what he tweeted. Drax isn't going anywhere. He just won't be played by this dude. By the time Guardians of the Galaxy 3 comes out, I'll be 54 years old, for God's sake. I'm expecting everything to start sagging any second now. There's nothing wrong with being 54, Dave. I feel attacked. James Gunn actually jumped in and replied to that tweet from Dave saying there's no Drax without you, buddy, which is so cute. And you probably remember Dave was a big supporter of James Gunn coming back and actually, was really angry about Disney canning him. Interestingly, at one time there was a pitch by James Gunn to do a Drax/Mantis film, but Dave updated that there's been no continuing with that, and Disney doesn't seem that interested. And also, if you're wondering if we'll ever see Drax in a live-action Disney Plus TV series, he said no just because of how long it takes to get the makeup on and how much he'd have to invest time-wise into the TV show. It wouldn't be worth it to him, which I completely understand. The Disney Store is now selling Venom Let There Be Carnage merchandise, which means that Disney and Sony are once more working closer together. We already saw with some Sony properties coming over to the Disney Plus website. So very exciting, but also Sony, just give Spider-Man back to Disney. From one fuck up to another, you're fuck ups. Just let it go. Disney is super confident in the Eternals, that film that's been delayed for what feels like decades at this point, but really it's only been a few years, because they're already starting production for Eternals 2. They're already going for a sequel, so they're assuming this is going to be a hit. And they actually have been talking it up so much, I expect this thing to be like a goddamn masterpiece. Actually, and this is super interesting, there are rumors going around that there are 20 MCU projects that we don't know about that are currently being worked on. One of them, supposedly, is Avengers 5, and kind of like with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 4, it's gonna be interesting to see what characters, what heroes they swap out, and what the new Avengers look like. Next, Disney is getting outside help from a firm with cultural representation for Ms. Marvel. And if you're wondering what that firm is going to do for Disney, here's kind of their mission statement of what they do. So they looks at productions from the lens of race, gender, class, sexual orientation, religion, mental health, and disability, and flags potential concerns and provides advice on how to avoid or mitigate risk. I don't know when they hired this firm because we're being told that Ms. Marvel has already finished filming, so maybe it's an after the fact and they're like, okay, we need you to look through all this footage of what we put together and tell us, is this okay or do we need to do more reshoots? By the way, in case you don't know, Ms. Marvel will be in Captain Marvel 2 along with Monica, and the official title for Captain Marvel 2 is Marvels. And I think the Marvels title is a little bit sexy, and while I think maybe Carol needs to be developed a bit more, and she could actually really use another solo film to kind of add more depth to her character. I love Monica, so I think it'll help maybe more people like the Marvels, because I think a lot of people liked Monica from WandaVision, right? Speaking of Monica, she will be in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, which makes sense because Wanda is in Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness, and Monica was the one that went to bat for all the fucking awful things Wanda was doing. And the screwed up thing about that is Elizabeth Olsen recently did an interview, and she said, yeah, the reason why Wanda left Westview so quickly was because she wanted to get out of there before the people that would hold her accountable actually got there. Though at this point, I'm wondering, especially since she's read the Darkhold, who's powerful enough to hold her accountable? I mean, Doctor Strange, and he's probably gonna have some talks with her in his solo movie, but besides that, she's too powerful at this point. And still on the Multiverse of Madness, I know it's obvious that we're gonna get multiple versions of Earth because it's in the title, multiverse, but there have been leaks of extras that are labeled based off of the Earth that is currently with the scene. So Doctor Strange goes to, in one case, Earth 616, which you might know is the main Marvel Comics universe. And if you're wondering what the MCU is, it's Earth 199999. So I'm excited to see all the different Earths they have in the Multiverse of Madness. Let's end on some rapid fire news. Moon Knight is gearing up for filming. Andrew Garfield said that he has absolutely no involvement with Spider-Man No Way Home. I would wink, but I'm not very good at winking. Here, I'll try. Black Panther 2 is officially called Wakanda Forever, and it was revealed that, in fact, Bucky's arm had a failsafe put in it because the Wakandans were worried if something ever happened, they got into a situation, they would be able to disarm him. Disarm him, sorry. Finally, and I'm really sorry for telling you this, Blade has been pushed back. The production is no longer happening this year. It is in 2022 instead. Okay, that is your MCU news. If you want DCEU news, that video should either be out or out shortly. I'll try to link it at the end of this video. Anyways, like, subscribe, and come back for more sci-fi fantasy.